to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Every election campaign is full of old talk and grand promises. Let history be your guide. Is who likely to better perform in government? Election is not about choosing perfect. They are about choosing the best one offer. Vote competent. Vote the NNP.
The new National Party takes its message of empowerment and progress playing St. Patrick's this Sunday. Campaign 2018 makes it stop at the playing field with a massive national rally from 5 p.m. Come here, St. Pat candidates and Gibson from the west and Pella Moses from the east, plus the leader of the Dream 15 political leader, Dr. Keith Mitchell. See you in Plains this Sunday. NNP for 2018 and beyond. We moving together.
We're winning right now.
It's not really complicated. Elections are about choice. Between 2008 and 2013, 1,265 youth engaged with the GIAP. Between 2014 and 2017, 3,725 youth engaged with the Amani program, with a spend of over $190 million. So let's keep moving. Vote NNP. Vote competence.
I've been catching my tail to get out, like in and out of my village, and Miss Palm passed on yesterday, and she promised me something. I'll get it done on the same day, and I'll get it done this morning. Although you kind of hamburger me right now, but still, I've been some patience at some feet. That I'll move to the next time I want to go into my daily job.
I used to take my vehicle and come inside, end up sticking, have to get machine to pull it out of the road. When I reach out the road, definitely, I'll be thanking the person who pulled me out. And I see Miss Pamela coming yesterday and look at the road, and I'm feeling so happy today that I see progress continue, that she get a machine and come and help us in the area, fix the road. Definitely, I'm feeling so thankful.
I think the people of Tisha will be very happy with what happened in so far, because a lot of potholes, and I think yesterday Sister Pam passed, and today we see some action. So we are very happy. I hope that a little better could be done in terms of concreting the road and food. Thank you so much.
The quality of the team we have put together for this current general elections is one of my proudest achievements. This Dream 15 is made up of achievers and successful people, and of members with a genuine grounding in their communities and inspired by the love they have for people. These are what set this team apart from the so-called alternative. Ours is one of continuity and renewal, and built with a determination to expand opportunities for youth and women. If elections are about choices, which they are, then the choice this election is clearer than in any previous poll. Love wins every time. Care wins every time. Competence wins every time. Performance beats old talk every time.
It's not really complicated. Elections are about choices. Between 2008 to 2013, the economy regressed every year. Between 2014 to 2017, the economy grew every year. Vote competence. Vote NNP.
It's not really complicated. Elections are about choice. Between 2008 and 2013, $70 million was spent on scholarships for youth. Between 2014 and 2017, $185 million was spent on scholarships for youth. Vote NNP. Vote competence.
Building a stronger economy means all Grenadian workers benefit, those who work in the public service and those who work elsewhere. Now that the period of shared sacrifices is over, the benefits must be shared among every Grenadian. More money for house repair, more money to improve healthcare, more money for training, more money for education, and yes, more money for public servants. $55 million in various payments. We are the Grenadian family looking out for each other. And even as we fight for ourselves and our families, we always remember our neighbors. We forge ahead together.
We got to come together, learn to love your brother. Are you ready?
The new National Party takes its message of empowerment and progress playing St. Patrick's this Sunday. Campaign 2018 makes its stop at the playing field with a massive national from 5 p.m. Come here, St. Patrick candidates Anthony Bolton from the west and Pamela Moses from the east, plus the leader of the Dream 15, the leader Dr. Keith Mitchell. See you in place this Sunday and be for 2018 and beyond. We're moving together.
Right now, cause I'm winning right now, yeah.
So I've been catching my tail to get out, like in and out of my village, and Miss Palm passed on yesterday, and she promised me something. I'll get it done on the same day, and look, I'll get it done this morning. Although you kind of handburg me right now, but still, I've been some patience at some feet. But I'll move to the next one to go and do my daily job.
I used to take my vehicle and come inside, end up sticking, have to get machine to pull it out of the road. When I reach out the road, definitely, I'll be thanking the person who pulled me out. And I see Miss Pamela coming yesterday and look at the road, and I'm feeling so happy today that I see progress continue, that she get a machine and come and help us in the area, fix the road. Definitely, I'm feeling so thankful.
I think the people of Tisha will be very happy with what happened in Sofa because a lot of potholes. And I think yesterday Sister Pam passed and today we see some action. So we are very happy. I hope that a little better could be done in terms of concreting the road and food. Thank you so much.
Good morning to you, Grenada Carrier Crew, Pity Martinique. Yeah, I say Pity Martinique special.
Pity Martinique, yes.
Yeah,
Very
Pity Martinique, yeah.
Special good morning to Pity Martinique.
Yeah. Hey, parent, father, and mother, good morning. For some reason, I just never remember the proper surname. Yeah? Maxan, tell your mother and father I said good morning. Mammy Jane, out there in Petit Martinique, good morning to you as well. Sherma, good morning. Yeah. Diana, good morning. Yeah. And a captain, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember his name. But anyway, everybody in Petit Martinique, a special glorious Grenadian good morning for you. Yeah, NNP is going there on Saturday. They're going to be having a meeting in front of the school there on Saturday. I don't have the exact time, but I do know that they're going to be having a meeting there on Saturday. Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be a nice one.
Very nice one.
Yeah, so the people of Petit Martinique, good morning to each and every one of you. Those of you joining us online and those of you joining us via the station 92.9 FM. Yeah, we're saying a special glorious Grenadian good morning to you. And whoa, them people don't start to hulk up the live already, right?
Yeah, and I seem to have some technical difficulties.
Yeah, the technical man go check it in and look a while and all kind of thing. You know, sharp on that man. That man sharper than a razor with a razor. Yeah, man.
Good morning, Grenada. Again, good morning. A beautiful morning in Spice Country. And my name is Devon Romain.
My name is Sheldon Scott.
And it's hard talk.
And I'm tired.
This morning. Yeah,
I had to pick around the island last night.
Yeah, I understand. I reached up too late. I couldn't join you last night.
Yeah, because I had to hit St. John, and I wanted to pass in Davie, but yeah, I was kind of late for over in Tivoli. So anyway, but the Tivoli meeting was big. The St. John Concord meeting again was a massive meeting. Yeah, we had some massive meetings last night. And I know there was one in Telescope as well.
That was a massive one. I
Sister Emlyn Pierre, you ram up the dance in Telescope? Well, let me just say ram up the dance. Next thing people feel was all kind of party. Hey, Sister Emlyn Pierre, you know she's a decent lady. She ain't going down that road.
Doc and Chester.
Yeah.
These guys were there.
Chess was there.
I could hear it from right from my backyard. When I hear we can't sit down, I say, nah, Doc around.
You see? Yeah. I know somebody must interfere with me. You know. One of them, Olivier, and them must come and interfere with me.
Yeah, the Olivier of Petit Martinique.
Olivier come and interfere with me. Okay. Good morning to you, Erica, and good morning to you, Irina, out there on the Petit Martinique, right? So Erica and Irina, your mom, your dad, your sisters, everybody, your brothers. Good morning to every one of you. You happy now, Miss Olivier? Right. Nice. I wonder if Erica. I think right now she might be on the scene. No, I think she probably in Carriacou right now. Yeah, I think she probably in Carriacou right now.
It's possible.
Yeah. Captain Erica, good morning to you.
Captain Erica. Oh, she's good.
Yeah,
man. She's good.
That girl can handle.
Yeah. Good morning.
That girl, that lady.
Yes, that lady, young lady can handle. Good morning, Sister Kinja Maturin Stewart. Out there in Carriacou, the next MP for Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Pleasant good morning to you and to your entire staff and supporters out there in Carriacou. Keep on moving.
Yeah, so remember in Petit Martinique, the new National Party, they'll be having that meeting there on Saturday. All right? I hear some people trying to make it look like, the police don't want to get them. No, the NNP had already booked their thing. They have a meeting there on Saturday.
Oh, yeah,
all right?
They're making all kind of
making all kind of mawet and things, right? Nice. But Bogles tonight. Yeah, Bogles, they've got their meeting in Bogles. The new National Party has a meeting out there in Bogles. That'll be taking place tonight in the constituency of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
Yeah.
All right?
Heating up in Carriacou.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Don't ease up. Just keep moving. No matter what obstacles are there, we keep moving.
Why somebody is telling me they're having problem with the audio? I don't think that's coming from our side because I think you're the only person that's having problem with the audio there.
Yeah.
If there is a problem, we'll try to solve it as soon as possible. At 10:30, we'll be making contact with the electoral office.
Yeah.
And we'll just be asking some various questions about some of the procedures, what is taking place right now. We want to know what is taking place right now and on election day procedures and that sort of thing.
Nomination day is coming up.
Yeah, so we'll be asking some questions and that kind of thing and so on and so forth. So we'll be making contact with, that's Mr. Ferdinand Phillip, out there at the parliamentary electoral office, the main office. We'll be making contact with him around 10:30 just to have a chat and to find out one or two things, yeah?
Yes, good morning to everyone on the live. Good morning, wherever you are.
Yeah, all you hulk up the live, man.
Yeah, hulk up
nah,
the live.
The live have a problem in truth, boy. It have a problem. Yeah. Hey, Louise, it was my pleasure to be there in Concord last night as well. I'm sorry that I was unable to stay there with you all for the entire period. I'm sorry that we were unable to stay there with you all for the entire. I wasn't able to stay there for the entire period. But what we, you will see me again. Yeah, I think I'm due to be in a meeting. I think I might be up there on Friday. You know. Yeah, I ain't giving out my schedule on air. Yeah, certain people want to know where I will be and when I will be and all kind of. I'm just popping up at meetings. Yeah.
Problem
with the audio.
The audio on the
Let's
live.
take this phone call. See if it's only on the live or if it's on radio as well. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, morning.
Morning, sir.
Gentlemen, I home yesterday and hear what was happening. Two NBC actually come in my house telling me that the Prime Minister in 1995 he signed a paper to stop public workers getting pension. And that's what they're doing the whole time all over the place. I asked the guy, I said, look man, what's wrong with you?
That's a total
when it
lie.
happened in 1983 with Bishop. Them fellas run, they take off.
No, you see the problem. Okay. The problem with the activists of the National Democratic Congress is they cannot hold a decent, truthful conversation with anybody.
No, they can't. Hit and run.
Why you think people like Devon Romain, Devon Britton, Scott Batiste, Messi, and so on are no longer Dixian and all of the other individuals in town here? My good friend, what's her name? Pauline.
Yes.
And all of these individuals. Why do you think they are not within the camp of the NDC? Because these are people that ain't going out and lie for nobody. They ain't going and bramble nobody. These are people that are going to be truthful in what they are saying. Yeah, that's why they're no longer in the camp of the National Democratic Congress, you know. That's why they're no longer there. Because it is totally false to say so. In 1983, early part of 1983, in fact, you can ask Mr. Nazim Burke about it because he was one of the head honchos in the Ministry of Finance. That's before he became the Minister of Finance.
He was number 2.
But he was the permanent secretary, I believe, at the time?
Yeah.
Or the deputy permanent secretary,
secretary in one of the divisions, I think.
Of the Ministry of Finance at that point in time. So if you want to find out NDC activists out there, and I want about who take pensions away from the public workers, find out from Victor Nazim Burke, because he was one of the head honchos in the Ministry of Finance of Grenada in 1983 when that happened. Yeah? They'll run. They can't hold a decent conversation in relation to issues.
Because, you know, at one time I asked a question, you know, and so of Victor Nazim Burke, of the thinking, what was the revolution or the personnel in the Ministry of Finance thinking, you know, when they came up with the whole question of the NIS and the, you know, the pension issue and everything like that. I mean, he would be in a position to explain and to answer certain questions. Why hide? You know what I'm saying?
I think
come out truthfully.
Many people have been asking issues about that pension issue. And you have, as the political leader, Dr. Mitchell wasn't in government when the pensions were taken away. Nazim Burke was in government when the pension, and he was in the Ministry of Finance when the pensions were taken away from public workers. So if you have to ask anybody about pension, don't dial forward to Dr. Mitchell in 1995, where the pensions would have been gone for nearly a decade already. deal with the individual who was sitting in the Ministry of Finance when the documents were signed and when it was taken.
And who became finance minister in October of 83.
Yeah, maybe it was due to they believe that he did a good job.
A very good job, yeah.
I don't know. But he can better explain than anybody what was the thinking. So anytime they come to any of you with that particular one, just remind them who it was that was in government. And even worse, there wasn't in the Ministry of Tourism, there wasn't in the Ministry of Mobilization, there wasn't in the Ministry of National Security, there was in the Ministry of Finance. Remind them who, which political leader of which political party was in charge of the finances of the country when the pension of these workers was removed.
Yes.
Yeah?
For whatever reason, we just need a better explanation. And I mean, Venus and Buck, you of all persons, a number of persons who know, but you, the political leader of NDC, would be in a very good position at this point in time to explain to the Grenadian people what went wrong, what were they thinking. Yeah. Tell us. I know, remember the last time I said that I was beat up on that radio by the wig lady. And so, but that's all good.
But I'm trying to understand the concept that NDC activists will be out there. You see, it's lack of information, brainwashing, and pure downright lies. Yeah, I'm telling them exactly what they're doing. Yeah, they're lying.
They're lying.
Because it is a fact, an undeniable, undisputable fact that Nazim Victor Burke was the one in the Ministry of Finance at the point in time that pensions were removed.
Yeah, he was.
All right?
So we settle
on that.
So he's straight on that. That is undisputed.
Then they have this other one that they've been putting out, that parliamentarians receiving a pension and the NNP government come on. Not the NNP government of Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. No, he wasn't in charge of the NNP.
And we go straighten that out right now.
You know who was in the NNP at that point in time? That was the first NNP.
First NNP of 1984.
Dr. Mitchell was Minister of Works.
Minister of Works and Utilities.
Herbert Blaise was the Prime Minister.
Yes.
You had Mr. Tillman Thomas. Let me say the name again because some of you all mightn't hear it properly. Mr. Tillman Thomas. You had Arlene Walker, would have been there.
Yes.
Francis Alexis would have been there.
George
Brizan would have been there.
Kenny Lal Singh
would have been there. So when that decision was made, don't try to make it look like it was a Dr. Keith Mitchell decision to give parliamentarians pension. Considering what had been done under the revolutionary government in 1983 with pensions overall, and due to the fact that many people were giving up. I mean, Kenny Lal Singh was a businessman, and he would have been giving up of his time and effort and so on to be able to service a constituency as an MP. The same with many others.
Like
so it
George
was decided,
Rizan,
it was decided that since these people, because to be honest, parliamentarians regionally, not just in Grenada, but regionally, are paid at a very low scale, with the exception of places like probably Trinidad and Jamaica. Parliamentarians are not paid up to the scale of other countries. They are paid way, way lower than other countries. For instance, a parliamentary secretary in Trinidad would be earning somewhere around $20-something, $30-something thousand a month. Yeah? Here in Grenada, it's less than $6,000. Yeah? So, and even if you convert it, it's still a lot more,
still much more
in Trinidad.
What's received here.
So at the end of the day, it was decided that that would have been the best approach to take, one, to avoid people getting involved in corrupt practices while in government to try to recoup money and that sort of thing.
Of course.
And also to protect a lot of people, because you were seeing people that were part of the Gary government that were dying paupers. People who were part of the GNP as MPs and so on that were dying as paupers. And who has benefited from that thus far? George Brizan benefited before he died. Nicholas Braffett would have benefited before he died.
Former Prime Minister Howard Blaise.
Yeah. And every MP, with the exception, I think, Ali Gill, would have benefited. You had Sylvester Corliss benefited from that. So when you're throwing stones, no way you're throwing stones, he benefited.
Glenn Noel benefited.
Yeah. Nazim Burke, the political leader of the NDC, qualifies for his parliamentary pension because he spent 2 terms as a parliamentarian.
Well, Glenn Noel is not. He just got a gratuity.
He got the gratuity.
Yes.
So a lot of them got their gratuity,
and they never
benefited
complained
from the pension because it was a parcel. It was gratuity and the pension and so on. And you had people that received their $70,000, like
74, 76.
Frank and them got their monies, and all of them get their money. I don't think Corliss got his money because there was some tax issues there. Senator Burke didn't get his gratuity because there was some tax issues and compliance issues there. But many, in fact, nearly all
the
of the
majority
NDC,
of them, got theirs.
I don't think Ali Gill qualified because I don't think he made the full amount of time or so. There's some issue there.
He didn't.
So I think that is the reason that he didn't get his. I think he fell short by a few days or some kind of
Joan
thing.
Purcell, former senator.
All of these people got their gratuity and so on.
But my thing is that why try to make the Grenadian people believe? And you see, they ain't forget, you just have to refresh their memories of when this happened. It was in the first NNP government in 1984 to 89, led by Herbert Blaise and the Honorable Ben Jones.
With George Brizant,
Francis
Alexis,
Tillman
Ali
Thomas,
Walker, Kenny Lal
Singh,
Dr. Keith
Mitchell,
Danny Williams.
You understand?
Yeah.
All of them. It was a decision by that government. Don't try to stick it on Dr. Keith Mitchell, right? Like under his rule as prime minister, this thing came to be. No, it came to be since in 1985 or somewhere around there. You understand? Under Prime Minister Herbert Blaise. So let's get it straight.
Yeah. So when they're trying to twist the story, we are giving you factual information that you could actually go back and check.
Definitely. So
you could go back and check, because if you're looking for the documentation, check laws.gov.gd online, and you'll see the laws of Grenada, and in there you'd be able to find out about the Pensions Act and all these other things. What was 1983? What was 1995? What was what? Because they're trying to give the impression that Dr. Mitchell come and do that. No, that's not the case. Stop lying for people.
And you know what is so ridiculous?
Stop lying for people. That's why they wouldn't like us. We go expose them. Stop lying for people.
What is so ridiculous by them also, when it comes to the whole pension issue, you guys had an opportunity to say something and do something, right, of the pension, of restoring the pension for our workers. You did nothing. As soon as Dr. Mitchell, together with Chester Humphrey and the union, right, try to do something, you jump up and start blaming and do everything to Dr. Mitchell, who leads the NNP government. No, come on. What is wrong with you guys?
Let's take another phone call, because we'll be going to that phone call with the parliamentary office in a while. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Sheldon.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
Today, I don't know if you have time today or sometime, or on the campaign trail, like you two, or whoever on the campaign trail, to explain certain issues to the Grenadian public, because last night I was listening to a program on GBN, and it seems like a supporter of the NNP called in and tried to share some issues with the host, and he sounded like the callers told him that he was disconnected, and when he realized going on and on, he just said him good night. The situation with the Postal Corporation, that's one. You don't know what's happening with it now. See the government doing things, and they're not informing the public. So Postal Corporation, gravel and concrete, oil and gas exploration, and also the National Health Insurance, if that's the right name for it.
No problem.
These 4 things you were just lambasting about last night on GPN.
Okay.
If you have the time today or some other time on the program or on the campaign trail, person who knows about these things, please inform the Grenadian people.
Okay, no
Let
problem.
them have a clear mind of what is going on. Okay?
All right.
Thank you so much.
Have a good morning.
Right.
So the last time that Dr. Mitchell did an interview, let me try to remember. That would have been last month. When he did the post-cabinet press briefing, was it?
Yeah. The youth forum was first.
Either the youth forum or press briefing. I'm trying to remember which one it was. But it was a sit-down something. Wasn't that a rally? He spoke about the Postal Corporation. He said the Postal Corporation still remains in the hands of government as they seek partners. I don't know how much different ways he could say that, but he said that it's in their hands. I'll find the audio so that we could play the audio for you probably tomorrow, but that it's still in the hand of Grenadians, as they seek partners to move forward with it, right? When it comes to gravel and concrete, that they are working along with a potential investor. So they have not signed off and given anybody anything. Yeah, but they are working along with that investor. In other words, you give the person a trial run to see if they are capable of running, and if it makes sense in the way that they are running, to enter into an arrangement with them in order to move forward. That is what he said. But you see, the thing is, you have a group of people out there who continue only to see when Dr. Mitchell goes onto the stage and he does some dancing or he does some aerobics while he's on stage. You have some people that's the only part of NNP rally they see. They don't hear the messages from the young people that say, I am so grateful to the new National Party government for giving me the opportunity to improve my life and improve my standard of living and to provide an example for other young people. They don't hear that. No, they don't see that part of the rally. Apparently, there does be in the kitchen cooking or the outside cleaning, dashing or some kind of thing. They does not see that part. When the same Dr. Mitchell comes back on the stage and he takes 30 to 45 minutes speaking about the unity of his team, the unity of the country, the progression of Grenada's economy, yeah, the state of the economy, the state of business in Grenada, what his new National Party government is doing and what they intend to do. When he speaks for 30 or 45 minutes on that, these individuals turn off the television or they turn off the radio or they probably go on to the beach because they just never see that. The only part of his addresses that they ever see, the only part of his thing they see is when he arrives and he come on stage to tell the crowd, hello, he's arrived, right? That's the only part that they see.
What does that tell you?
That tells me that they are extremely dunce because Dr. Mitchell is standing up in front of 10,000 or 15,000 people at a time who are listening to him and hearing his message, who know that the rally wasn't all about he just come and he jump on a stage and he dance and he go on and then people go home. They know that what these people are saying is false. And at the end of the day, 26 days from now, they are going to prove to you that you should stop taking them for fools. Yeah? They're going to prove to you you should stop taking them for fools.
Yeah, because, I mean, they are underestimating the Grenadian people so much. Yeah. And people are just sitting there, I mean, just waiting. But anyway,
when it comes to those issues, we're definitely going to call. I think we're going to take this call, and then right after that, we're going to call the Parliamentary Electoral Office.
Good morning and welcome.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Okay,
Quite fine.
Yes, I realize, my brother, next you give us up in St. Andrews Southeast. He's not mentioning a thing about St. Andrews. Anyhow, we have it cocked. Brother Sheldon, I want to make an announcement. I tried to get on yesterday, but the program was so tight that I couldn't go on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we are having a meeting in St. Andrews Southeast this afternoon at Phillips Park Junction. That's next to Jones Shop.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows there's Miss Backer Shop, Crucial Junction to be exact. At half past 6.
Mm-hmm.
We are asking persons, to come and hear the message that, the caretaker has to offer, and many other speakers. But I heard you might be there as well. So
yeah, I will be there.
You will be there.
I will be
there.
Please,
do that announcement for us, please.
Okay, no problem.
All right. And Brother Sheldon, last time I listened to our program, and trust me, I mean that guy, Mr. Maguire, he said he's a learned person, but he really disappointed me with some of the things that he was saying. He was only pointing in one direction, and the direction that he was pointing in, trust me, I mean, he already stumbled and fall over. Because one of the concerns I say, but how we could defend that young lady that's running against Brother Peter when she made that statement, and he was actually defending that woman. And I say, oh, come on, Mr. Maguire. And at this time, I don't listening. So, Mr. Maguire, I'm very, very disappointed in you, sir. Okay? Bye, Brother Sheldon.
All right.
You have a nice day.
No problem. Thank you.
Good, man.
All right. And just before I call the parliamentary office, just to let you all know the meetings for this evening, we have South St. George in Grand Dance Valley. That's by Ira Shop at 6 p.m. St. George Northeast, they have a joint meeting with the town of St. George in Tempe by the Coke Factory for 6 p.m. St. Andrew Northwest, they are in Bylands from 7 p.m. and St. Andrew Southeast in Crowshoe, close to Jones Shop at 6:30. So I'll be giving you some more information. We'll be repeating that again. Also in Bogles in Carriacou later today. Remember, the buses will be passing at the various areas. I think it's from about 6. I'll get the exact info again for you in a little while. So what we're going to do now, going to pull up some music, take a little break, and be right back as we contact the Parliamentary Electoral Office.
The house is a symbol for the NNP party. We're going green all the way. Green, we voting green. Green, we voting green. Green, we voting green. On election day. Green, we voting green. Green, we voting green. Green, we voting green. We voting NNP again. Exercise your rights and vote for us. NNP will always put you first. Positive achievement for the last 5 years. The goal is to keep moving up and up. I'm talking to you. Keep moving. Let's focus, continue. Keep moving. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Keep moving. We voting NNP.
All right, so as promised, we have on the line with us Mr. Ferdinand Phillip of the Parliamentary Electoral Office. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you and to the rest of your listening public.
All right. Yes, sir, we're glad to have you on. We know it's a very busy time for you. The last time you were this busy would have been just before constitutional reform referendum.
Definitely.
And what's taking place at the Parliamentary Electoral Office right now? What are you all up to?
Well, basically we are just putting final structures in place for the upcoming general elections. We're ensuring that, every person who so desires to be a part of the whole electoral process is catered for. We are I must say that today we have one of our final meetings with our registration officers, or returning officers I should say, and our assistant registration officers. With this in mind, we just want to remind the public that the offices will be closed as of 12 noon, but it would be staggered. For example, those places in St. Patrick, St. Mark, they would close a little earlier to ensure that all of our officers are able to get down to headquarters for that 1 o'clock meeting today. Okay. But basically, we are putting structures in place so that come election day, we would be ready. I just want to remind persons that they have until tomorrow, Friday the 16th, to look for claims and objections so that, we can look into them so that subsequent to that, the final list for the upcoming general elections can be printed.
Okay, so let me just clarify that again. Anybody could make an objection, but it has to be done by the close of the day tomorrow.
Yes, it has to be. No, objections can be made at any time. Claims can be made at any time. But again, there are procedures, and that's what persons need to be aware of, the actual procedure that is engaged in. It's not that you make an objection and we just run and we listen to you and we carry it out. There is a procedure that has to be engaged in, and so for this list that is being sanitized right now, you have up until tomorrow, which is the 16th, to submit your claims and objections.
Okay. All right. How does one make an objection or file a claim?
Well, there are forms. There are prescribed forms, and the forms are available at each of the constituency offices. In terms of the objections, persons making objections need to be registered in the said constituency. So, for example, if they see my name on the list in, let's say, St. Andrew Southeast, and they know for a fact that I am not living here, or they suspect that I'm not living there, the person in somebody who's registered in St. Andrew Southeast can raise an objection, but not someone from outside of the constituency. So they can raise that objection. There's a prescribed form, and then the returning officer, or any registration officer, but right now they are called returning officers, would take up the matter. It will be addressed. Both the objected person and the objector will be communicated, and the matter will be ventilated.
Okay, so once somebody has filed a claim against another individual, that person has to be contacted by the Parliamentary Electoral Office.
Definitely. The person who is objected to has to be contacted, and that is via registered mail. Also, the person who is making the claim or making the objection would also have to be contacted.
Now, let me find out something. If an objection has come through, if somebody has objected to a person living in a particular area who has registered in another area, and that has gone through, what is the status of the person who the claim has been filed against? Are they now not eligible to vote on election day, or are they simply going to be transferred to where they are actually?
Well, let me say it in this way. It's a process, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the process is not just 2 days. It's, for example, as I said, I think they need to be given a period when that the registered mail is sent out. I think a period of at least 5 days to ensure that the person gets the information, gets the mail, and that's both the objector and the person objected to. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked over the legislation just recently, but the information also has to be made public, posted up so that the general public can see all of the objections and so forth. But it's a rather drawn-out process, and if in the opinion of the registration officer, the objector did not provide sufficient information as to the objection that was made, then the registration officer can give the objector a further 7 days to supply such information before he or she, that is the registration officer, can act on it. So in the interim, the person remains, their status remains as is. It is only upon having all of the evidence before him or her, that's the registration officer, having all of that information and then giving due consideration of all the facts, then a decision is made. And when that decision is made, only then would action be taken. And the action could be that the person who objected can have their objection dismissed. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so the objected person will remain as is. Or on the other hand, the claim can be upheld, and so action would be taken. The person would be removed from wherever they are accordingly. But it's, as I say, it's a process, and persons need to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm. All right, wonderful. Devon, you have a question?
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Philip.
Yes, sir.
Yes. The whole question, well, the election process has begun. The whole question of nomination, right? Nomination day. Could you just walk us and the general public through that whole process, and so we can more understand, what is going on that day, the 20th of February?
Okay. In terms of nomination day, I think I would have, given out some information just recently in terms of nomination day. And I believe GIS may rebroadcast that whole piece at 12 o'clock today. Nonetheless, persons who are they are called potential candidates right now. They are not candidates in the real sense as yet because they have not met the criteria. One of the things is that we know of the $300 deposit. It remains $300. It has not declined. It has not increased. So persons ought to be aware of that. In addition to that, every potential candidate needs 6 electors from the constituency that they are contesting to nominate them. That's what we call it, the nomination form. So it must be 6 electors from the constituency, cannot be from another constituency. These persons would fill out that form, and these persons basically are saying that to the best of their knowledge, X or Y or whoever that candidate is a fitting person to be nominated as a candidate for the upcoming election. On that said form, the candidate, him or herself, will also sign a consent. They are actually consenting to them being nominated as a candidate for that upcoming general election. As form number 4 now, I think that one we refer to as the statutory declaration. This one, there are 10 points. I'm just trying to see if I can pull it up there quickly as I'm speaking to you all. It's not right before me, so I'll just have to speak those that I recollect out of my head. However, on that statutory declaration, which $1.50 stamps must be affixed to, and that's important. Persons need to be aware of that. You are not bringing the $1.50, you are purchasing $1.50 stamp, and you are affixing it to the statutory declaration. There are 10 points basically that you are attesting to. And if I can just remember some of them, you are able to read and write the English language. I think that's point number 2. Or if not, point 3 says you are able to speak the English language, but because of some incapacity, you are not able to read or write it. You do not owe allegiance to any foreign power or state. You are not an undischarged bankrupt. You are not a person of unsound mind. There are several points that are there. And you basically are declaring that before a justice of the peace or someone to that effect. What should I also say? Nomination takes place between the hours of 9 in the a.m. until 12 noon, and we want to emphasize that it's not after 12 noon. So we want to appeal to the various candidates. Try not to come quarter to 12, though you will be facilitated, but you can understand the likely chaos that can be created at that time. And although of a trend, candidates tend to come with a heavy entourage, with them, only the 6 electors who are nominating that person and the candidate, him or herself, or if the candidate is out of state. If the candidate is out of state, they can have a representative, an agent who would represent their interests. And so that agent will bring in a statutory declaration vouching for that particular candidate. But it's only the 6 electors and the candidate, or in the absence of the candidate from the state, an agent duly authorized, who will be allowed into the constituency office to complete the nomination process. So we want persons to be aware of that, because this is important. And if you do not meet that standard, you could be as favored as what, but you would not be allowed to be, your name to be entered as a candidate on the ballot paper. So basically, we are ready to print our ballots, but we cannot do so, as you would appreciate, until nomination day the process has closed at 12 noon on Tuesday coming, and we know the persons that have met the required standard, and so, it would be then made known to the general public.
All right, so they must do that by 12. So they have between 8 a.m. and
between
12,
9 a.m. and 12 noon come Tuesday. So we expect that they would get their everything that needs to be in place. They would get these things in place beforehand, and all of the forms, the nomination package is what we refer to it as, are available. All of them are available at the several constituency offices. So persons can go to those offices as potential candidates and collect their packages and get them duly prepared. We also want to allow persons to know that, I know several persons have asked that question. Yes, a candidate can live in one constituency and represent another constituency in Grenada. So you can live in Grenada proper and represent the constituency of Carriacou, as well as you could live in Carriacou and represent any constituency in Grenada proper. What would be issued, and that would be subsequent to nomination day, would be basically what we call a transfer certificate, allowing you to vote in a polling station of your choosing, only one, on election day. Now, if someone does such, then we would also indicate to the presiding officer in the polling station where they should have voted in their registered constituency that they would not be allowed to cast their ballot. So we want persons to be aware of that. Okay?
Okay. So the candidates, they can vote different places and that sort of thing, right? So
yes, they can if they so choose. They can.
All right.
But it's a structured process, and as I say, we would then need to know. They would indicate to us where they want to cast their vote, and we are going to indicate in writing to the presiding officer at that station, and also we are going to indicate to the officer in the station where they came from that they would not be allowed to cast their votes there. So we want persons to be aware of that if they so choose.
I have a question. An officer is asking, what day will police officers be voting?
Police officers will vote on the 9th, which I believe is Friday before the Tuesday, and that is called special elections. Everything about the officers, and that is police officers only, they are referred to as special electors. So everything about that day is referred to as special ballot box, special ballot paper, special electors. It's not for nurses, it's not for security guards, whatever. It is specifically for the security officials who would then be tasked with providing security on general polling day.
The election day workers representing different political organizations and so as well as your staff, do they vote on that day as well, or do they vote on normal election day with everyone else?
Yes, only the police officers are, according to legislation, allowed to vote on special election day. No other category of persons, including the staff working here or various party workers on that day, every person will vote on general election day. So it is up to the various individuals, the parties, and the candidates to organize and structure their administration so much so that, by and large, they would work in the stations where they would be able to vote.
Okay. We'd like to move a bit forward, unless Devon has a next question right now. We'd like to move a bit forward now to election day. Since we know police are now, we know they're voting on the 9th now. Election day. What is the election day procedure? We have people asking questions. If they do not have their ID card, their voter registration card, as we say ID card, but voter registration card, or they don't have any documentation as a passport or a driver's license or so, but their name is on the list, will they be able to vote? Walk us through what takes place on election day, especially for new voters. We have many people who will be voting for the first time, and also this particular issue. I don't mind if you deal with that issue first and then walk us through the process.
Okay. Yes. In terms of peace persons being able to vote, what is critical, even more critical than the voter's ID, is your name being on the list. If your name is not on that list, you know, there's a whole adage, if you haven't got a ticket, then you haven't got a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your name is not on that list, you will not be allowed to vote. And if your name is not on that list and any election officer allows you to vote, that person has committed a crime and they can be jailed.
Okay.
Plain and simple. What is critical is your name being on the list. Nonetheless, we also emphasize that persons should walk with their voter identification card because it would both expedite and ensure accuracy with the whole process. Okay? Mm-hmm. So your card, we emphasize, this is why we issue the card to persons, you know, for the purposes of voting. But we want persons to be aware that if for whatever reason you are not able to come with your card, you will be allowed to cast your ballot. Okay? Now, in such a case, you would be, the presiding officer may ask some questions. It's not up to the agents. Agents are not allowed to ask the voters questions, but they can politely ask the presiding officer to direct a particular question. And there are two questions, basically, that you can ask a voter. You cannot bombard that voter with a whole series of questions to get that person all flustered. But the presiding officer is going to handle that. So even though you do not have your card, I want to let persons know you will be allowed to vote. But what is critical here is that your name needs to be on the ballot. And that's why, on the list, sorry. And that's why we keep on emphasizing to persons right now, please check the list. Check the list. Ensure your name is on the list. And not only that, the system is designed in such a way that you can either go to your constituency, the constituency offices, each one of them, and check your list, or you can go online, peogrenada.org, and you can inspect the list, and it will bring you right down to even your polling station, right where you are allowed to vote. Because we do not want persons going in the wrong places come election day, and you can understand the attendant confusion that can be created. So this facility is created there for persons so that they can, you know, check the list and know definitely where they are voting. And I must say here that it is being heavily utilized. Persons are calling in, persons are, you know, going onto the site to ensure that they know where they are voting. Mm-hmm. Now, if I can just go through the process of voting. Contrary to what I have heard persons suggesting, polls open at 6 in the a.m. Not before, not after. And what we have done, we have asked all of our officers, they on that said day, I would just also remind the agents to the various political parties or candidates that our officers would be there at least no later than 5:30. Some of them would be there earlier. So try to be there early, because one of the things, when that ballot box is open, we want all parties to be there to see. But if for whatever reason agents choose not to be there, it would not stop the presiding officer from opening that ballot box. He can just call two voters, two electors to witness the opening of the box and so on. But we would like the agents to be there for the whole process. So persons should be there at least 5:30, I should say. But polls open at 6 in the a.m. and there is going to be one clock that is provided in every polling station, regardless of what timepiece you may have, whether your phones or your watch or whatever. We are going to adhere to the time as established by the presiding officer. Okay, that is going to be the opening of poll time, and at the said 5 o'clock, that is going to be the closing of poll time, and we are going to function with the established clock that will be visible for all to see. I would say here, just in case I forget, however, that at 5 o'clock, the police officer will stand behind the last voter. I want persons to be clear of that. At 5 o'clock, according to the clock that is up in the station, the police officer will stand behind the last voter. So it's not based on the timepiece on your hand, but it's based on the established clock that we all are going to adhere to. Persons need to be aware of that. So polls open at 6 in the morning. The presiding officer will be there. Persons would, as they come in, they can search the list, ensure that their name is on it. If it's a station with multiple polling stations, if it's a location with multiple polling stations, as in Sandino, or I think Cadiz government may also be one, or even in the National Stadium, once it is stations like these, we would have marshals. Once there are 3 or more polling stations in one locality, there will be marshals to assist persons to cast their votes. So you inspect the list, you make sure your name is there. You approach the presiding officer, you state your name, your address, and so forth. They are going to look into that list, ensure that it's there. They are going to call out your information loudly enough so that the agents who are there will be able to tick off on their particular list that, that person has come in, that person has voted. The poll clerk is going to enter some information into the poll book, and then the presiding officer is going to instruct the voter on how to vote. Okay, so once they are going to be instructed on how to vote by the presiding officer, and then they would be handed the ballot paper and asked to go. No, we're not going to, it's basically we have provided some beautiful and simple booths for voters this year. So it's not going to be a big cumbersome piece of apparatus, but it's going to be a simplified structure, yet providing the required level of privacy. That person would go in there, cast their vote for the person of their choice, return with the ballot, fold it. Now, when they go with that ballot, one of the things the presiding officer is going to do before they go with the ballot, he or she is going to put their signature on it. Okay? Not on the part that goes into the ballot box, but on what we call the counterfoil. And so when it is folded, the only part that's going to be shown is the counterfoil with the presiding officer's signature on it. Mm-hmm. I want persons to be aware of that. So when that person goes into the ballot box, they put their X, or they put their mark, a simplified mark for the candidate of their choice. Then they would fold back that ballot paper, leaving the counterfoil exposed, because this is what the presiding officer wants to see. And if they return with the counterfoil, with the ballot paper unfolded, they are going to be forcefully asked to fold that ballot paper in a manner prescribed, because we do not want to see for whom they would have voted. Mm-hmm. And once they have returned with it, the presiding officer establishes that this is the ballot that he or she would have issued. They would inspect the voter's finger, and initially it is according to legislation, that finger is your right index finger. So persons, when they ask to inspect your finger, that's the finger they're looking at. But if you do not have, and that's the finger right next to your thumb on your right hand, if you do not have that finger, then they want to look at the middle finger. If that one is not there, then the one just before your little finger. If that is not there, then the little finger. And if there are no fingers on your right hand, then they're going to do the same with your left hand. The index finger, if not there, the middle finger, go right down. If I'm sufficiently clear. So that's the procedure, and they're inspecting it to make sure that you have not already voted. Now, I must remind persons that we have, if I can boast a little bit here, we have super indelible ink. We want persons to be aware of that, because we really do not want persons attempting to, circumvent the whole process by voting twice or whatever. So the ink is of a very high quality. So they want to inspect the finger to make sure you have not already voted. They're also looking to see if someone has not accidentally placed anything on the finger that might prevent the adhesion of the ink. Okay? So once they have inspected that finger and ensured that the person has not, voted already, or do not have anything on that will prevent the adhesion of the ink, they're going to ask the voter to immerse the finger in the ink, and the entire, not the entire finger, but right up to the whole fingertip, fingernail, I should say, should be covered, immersed in the ink. Once they have done that, the presiding officer will hand them the ballot in the other hand and ask them to deposit into the ballot box. And once they have done that, they would be kindly asked to leave the polling station. Now, I should have said earlier that as they enter the station, we would again, in a courteous manner, ask them to not enter the the voting booth with things like cell phones and cameras and such. Okay? So I hope persons are aware of that. Right. Now, just quickly, if a person comes in there who is, let's say someone comes in and they come in to vote, and when they call out their names, they name to the presiding officer, it is realized that somebody under that said name has already voted in that election. Now, what happens is that the presiding officer, would then have to go through a certain procedure, and basically this is the procedure. The person would have to take an oath, because we are going on the assumption that somebody else has already voted. Based on our information, the agents have their lists, and they would have ticked off, the poll clerk would have ticked off in the book, and now somebody coming under that same name to vote again. We cannot stop the second person from voting. But what will be done is that the person would have to take an oath, and a note would have to be placed on the counterfoil of the ballot of that said voter, so that investigation can be done after. But the second person, will not be prevented from voting. And I want persons to be aware of that. In addition, if somebody comes in as a incapacitated elector, in other words, they probably have no hands, or maybe they have no fingers on their hands, or the person has a stroke and so they are unable to use their hands. Now that's incapacitated. But they come in to vote. Now what is going to happen in this case? The presiding officer, they can request that the presiding officer assist them in voting. Now, in this case, it's an open vote in the sense that it's not secret. It's not only that particular individual. So that person now would have to take an oath indicating their inability to cast their ballot on their own, and then the presiding officer will proceed to mark the person's ballot paper in a manner so desired by the voter. Now, in this case, the agents who are also sworn, now they have also been sworn to secrecy in addition to the presiding officer and the poll clerk. Every person must be allowed to see for whom that elector would have cast their ballot. Okay? Mm-hmm. And we call it an open vote in this case. In the case of the blind elector now, the blind elector can be assisted in the same manner, or the blind elector can come in with their own, with a friend or a family member, somebody to assist them. That person who would assist the blind elector must take an oath. The oath is an oath of secrecy. And they can only act for one blind person. We want persons to be aware of that. They can only act for one blind person, and they must take the oath of secrecy. But they can assist the blind elector in that regard.
Okay. All right. Mr. Philip, in terms of what we should or shouldn't do on election day, I'm specifically trying to zoom in on our conduct.
The rules.
Right? The average voter conduct, what he should and should not do on election day. Could you just run us through that, please?
Okay, and presently that's one of the things that we are working on right now, the do's and don'ts come election day. And so soon, as my understanding, as soon as nomination day is completed, we will begin to hit the airways with the do's and the don'ts. We are also doing a video, I must say, because we would have just touched on whole voting procedure coming election day. We are doing a video that would highlight this here. But in terms of the do's and don'ts, well, I would say begin by saying, please don't, come after 5 in the evening to vote on election day, because you would have lost your franchise. But one of the things, there are several don'ts. They say alcohol is a no-no, and I will just speak off my head here. But things like alcohol, the supply, distribution, selling, giving away freely, and certainly consumption of alcohol during the hours of poll are prohibited. We appeal to employers not to prevent their workers from being able to go and cast their ballot, give them the allotted time. And of course, a lot of persons in the outer parishes work in especially the Grand Anse area, St. George's proper area. And so the amount of time you may have to allot someone who, let's say, works in Grand Anse, but lives in St. Mark, may be a lot more than you have to allot someone who lives in Grand Anse and works in Grand Anse also, because the travel time might be different. But employers have to allow their workers, that's their constitutional right, the time for them to cast their ballots. And you cannot dock from their pay. You cannot dock from their pay, you cannot fire them, you cannot you cannot do anything like that. You have to give them the right. But we are also appealing to the employees, do not take advantage of the situation that is provided for you. Loitering is not allowed. Once you have voted in that election, you would be asked to vacate the polling station. Limers would not be allowed, and persons in loitering, persons should not try to find out for whom an elector intends to vote or for whom they would have voted. These are things they are no-no. So you should not try to influence someone to vote for a particular person. You should not try to bribe any person, anything like that. Again, personation is another big issue. Personation simply means that you apply for a ballot paper in the name of another person, living or dead, or even fictitious. You should not apply for a ballot paper in that name. That's called personation, and again, of these you are liable to be fined and or confined. Ballot papers. Person should not come into a polling station with anything resembling a ballot paper. That's a no-no. You should not attempt to leave the polling station with any of the duly issued ballot papers. You should not willfully deface, destroy, or anything to do with the ballot papers. All of these are no-nos. And one of them that is interesting, because it's even now, as campaigns are on, we are having rallies and so forth, there is there's the likelihood that persons can fall afoul of this. And let me explain. No one should willfully try to, defame the character of a candidate, both in terms of their name and or that candidate's conduct. You should not make statements that would defame their character, in the period leading up to an election with the intent that you cause favor to another person. And also, you should not be found during any political meeting attempting to behave in a manner that would disrupt the political meetings of other candidates. All of these are crimes, and persons can be sanctioned according to the law.
Let me stick a pin there. So in other words, if a political activist of the NDC suddenly appears in a rally of the New National Party, that would be a crime.
Well, let me clarify. It's not only of the NDC. It could be a political activist of the NNP. It could be a political activist of the GR, whatever.
Yeah.
That appears at another rally, at the meeting of another candidate of another party, and attempts to disrupt that meeting. That person can be sanctioned by the law. So we want persons to be, it's not just for one party, it's for all parties. You were saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yes.
So we want the general public to be aware of that.
Okay. Just some quick questions that have been coming in online. Individuals are asking about the change of polling stations. If some polling stations have changed, and how they'll get that information. That's one question. Also, let me see, there was another question there. asking how long are candidates allowed to remain in a polling station on election day?
Okay. Well, the first one is what the change of polling stations. Now, as persons would be aware, we do not only use government buildings for polling stations. We also use private residences. And so at any given time, I must say here that as of August last year, I believe, the supervisor of elections began to physically go to the identified sites for potential polling stations, with a view of ensuring that all things were in place. And so by and large, we have established our 269 polling stations that would be used for the upcoming general elections. However, I hear some persons would have expressed concern that maybe some will change. And of course, with the private residences, we are always looking at ensuring that the best possible facilities are provided for the electorate for them to come and cast their ballots. Some private residences that were available in the last election or even in the referendum are not necessarily available now. Some, again, when we looked at the facility that was provided and we did listen to the complaints of the general public, probably were not deemed to be ideally suited, or better sightings were located, to ensure the comfort of the elector. So for that reason, some of our polling stations, for this and among other reasons, some of our polling stations indeed were changed. Also, we are considering our persons who are differently abled, and so in several of the polling stations, ramps were established. And in some of them, because it was not feasible to actually put ramps, we had to change the location. But by and large, most of our stations remain as is. Could you just run the second question?
The second question.
It's a question in terms of the
length
how
of time
long
a candidate, yeah.
Now what it says, agent candidates are represented in the various polling stations by their agents. However, the law states that no candidate and his or her agent should be allowed to stay in one particular polling station for more than 5 consecutive minutes. So, for example, let's say in polling station B, an agent is there representing a particular party, and the candidate comes in. He can stay there up to 4 minutes and 59 seconds with his or her agent. But once 5 minutes has elapsed, then either the agent should step out or the candidate, but no two of them should remain there for more than 5 minutes.
Okay, so two of them can't be there at the same time for more than 5 minutes.
No, it should not be.
All right.
And also, as we are on agents, we want to remind persons, I guess a lot of training, the agents would have been given a vast amount of training before, both agents and candidates. But we just want to remind persons, especially the candidates, that they need to identify, because we would have a final count the day after the elections, and every candidate is allowed to have, although he or she may have several agents within his constituency, but one agent would be authorized to be there for the final count, and that will be the day after the election, which I think should be Wednesday. And so they need to identify who that agent is the day before the elections, at least the day before the elections. Okay, so these things need to be in place.
Okay, so that deals with most of the questions I had. The last set of people that were registered on the final day and just before that, would their voter registration cards be ready, or are they ready and already out to the different areas?
Well, I should guess that they are already out, but I cannot be quoted on that one because I didn't actually check out that information. But I would say that I want to believe here, I can say with some degree of assurance that all of the persons who would have gotten, and I believe for the month of January it was 2,913, which is a record number, for this election. All of those persons would be in the system, because as soon as that list came out which was tomorrow, which sometime last week, I believe, last week Tuesday, as soon as that list came out, it would have included all of those persons who got registered in that last month, and informing them to check the list, to inspect the list, that the information would be rightly there. So we trust that every person would have their cards ready, and the cards are waiting there for persons to go to the various offices and collect it. Nonetheless, as I say, if any person has any concern, and this is where sometimes I think we meet there's a little disconnect. Sometimes persons, it may not function as beautifully as we expect. Sometimes there's a little glitch in the system, or sometimes human error. And sometimes we take that little anthill and we create a mountain out of it. But I'm saying all that to say, if you have any concern, if you have any complaint, if there's anything that you feel aggrieved with, the office is not your enemy. The office is there to facilitate every potential elector. And so once you raise that concern with us, we would, in an expeditious manner as possible, look to address it.
Yeah, Mr. Philip, at this point in time, I've seen that all the registration, everything is over. What is the amount of voters that's expected as from the registration office is eligible to vote on March 13th?
Well, the exact figure I'm seeing before me here is 78,343 persons. Previous to this, the last election was around 62,000 persons. So I think that's an increase of about, 16,000, if my maths does me right.
Wow. So we expect at least 78,000 people.
Well, we don't expect about 78,000 persons, but yes, I can't recollect an election where you had 100% turnout, but based on the average voter turnout over the past few years, although in my opinion this one would be very much, I would see heightened turnout, but you can expect a healthy percentage of that figure.
Okay. All right. Mr. Philip, I would really like to thank you, right, on behalf of this program for sharing as much information with us and the general public, and so concerning the whole electoral process, at this point in time. So on behalf of myself and the program, we'd like to say thank you very much for giving us the time.
Well, you are quite welcome, and as an office, as I say, we make ourselves available to all persons concerned, because our business is getting the information out there to the general public.
All right. Is there anything else that you would want the general public to know at this point in time? Perhaps that we may not didn't ask?
Well, I think that I've covered everything in a nutshell, but just to let the general public indeed know that our website, peogrenada.org, is open to all of them, and especially which of great concern to them would be, is my name on the list? Where am I voting come election day? And so they can input their name. Once they input their name into the system, it's going to bring up right where they go into the online peogrenada.org. They go on to search voters list. It's going to ask them for their name and surname or their registration number, whichever one is available before them. As they input that, they're going to know, and once it flags, comes out colored, they are registered. And they can also, as they click on the select button, it's going to show them exactly where they are voting come election day. So we want persons to be aware of that and to be proactive. Do not wait, because we have had in the past, although of a minuscule nature, persons, come into a polling station only to realize that they were not registered, or persons go into a particular station and only to realize that they were not too sure where they had to go. So we're looking to ensure that every person has a rewarding experience come election day. And I know persons would have expressed in the past concern about whether or not persons were able to find out for whom they would have voted. But I must remind persons that, we have put structures in place according to the legislation that ensures that this is not the case.
All right. Quick question in relation. The website is updated daily.
Well, yes, as is necessary.
As is necessary. So as the information, so it's real-time information that we're getting via the website right now.
Yes, in terms of, yes, you're checking the name and so forth. And not only that, you can check past elections. Mm-hmm. You can go into all election results. You can get all of this data. You can get all of our laws and legislation and referendum information. All of these things are available on it. And just to remind the public that just as we would have experienced during the referendum that went by, the data, the results of the elections, they would be able to view it online. And not only that, we have improved upon what we did during the referendum, which is a first for Grenada and for many, many states, but we have improved upon it. So, you, the general public, can look forward to it, and it is believed that possibly by just a few minutes after 6, results will begin to come in, And by 7 o'clock, we hope that we will be able to call the general elections.
All right, wonderful. Unlike a certain other country, but we ain't going to go into that this morning. Yes, so
Okay.
a question that keeps popping up. I wasn't going to ask it, but people keep asking about that one. Certain revelations about what a particular political party intends to do on election day. So we're not going to go in specifics of which political party and what. But the general public want to be assured that the Parliamentary Electoral Office is doing all in its power to ensure that we have a very smooth process on election day. Any statement in relation to that?
Well, I would appeal to the general public to not get caught up with old talk. I guess, I heard one person refer to it as what they call silly season, and people say all different sorts of things. As an office, we do not get ourselves down to that level. We do our job without fear, without favor. We intend to provide to the general public election that is free and fair, and certainly free from fear. And I must say that the staff of the office, impartiality is our watchword. Competence, these are the vanguards under which we operate. And so, regardless of what persons may say or you may hear or what might be bandied about out there, you can place confidence in the office that, it's going to be an election that, is as I say, is free, is fair, and is reflective of the desires of the Grenadian populace. So, in a nutshell.
All right. Okay, so I think we've detained you here for quite a long while. You spent over half an hour with us there this morning, and we know that it's a busy time for you. So I'd like to thank you so very much and let you know that you can use Hard Talk at any time. We're broadcast on 6 stations, locally, regionally, and internationally. And you can call us in with information that you want to give to the general public. You can send out whatever information. You can send it to us and we'll put it out. Of course, free of course.
Well, I trust that every media host would say like you, because we do have a lot of information to put out, and we utilize every medium available, to ensure that all of our population is empowered come election day.
Okay, one quick question that just came up, and I think it's an important one. Security of the boxes that are being used on the 9th. What is the status with that? What will be in place for that?
Well, I cannot go into the details of that.
And we don't want you to go into the details.
I would say to you that we have been liaising with the Royal Grenadian Police Force, who basically are able to enforce the teeth of the law, and, that security is in place according to legislation. So persons can rest assured.
All
but
right.
I would just remind the general public, do not do anything that is seen to be nefarious, because although our boxes are quite secured, if for a chance, sometimes you hear happen in other countries, you see a ballot box lying by the wayside, don't take it and shove it under your bed and try to be mischievous. Bring it to the relevant authority. Of course, that wouldn't happen in Grenada.
Yeah.
But we want persons to know, yes, as you would have brought up, the security of the ballot box is paramount.
Yes. One final question. This one just came to mind. The use of mobile phones in polling stations. Are mobile phones allowed in a polling station on election day? Is an individual allowed to take a photo of the ballot and leave the polling station? Is there anything in place for that? Is it allowed, or is that not addressed?
What we will do, we will provide, simple cubicles, right, in a very prominent place, so that persons can leave their mobile devices there, their electronic, whether it's cameras or whatever, because we are discouraging persons from engaging in that kind of practice. We know with the use of technology, persons may want to try novel things, but again, as I said, we are encouraging persons, and there will be a sign placed up at the various polling stations indicating no cell phones allowed.
Okay, great. If a person breaches that, they pay the consequences.
Well, we want to impress. We are a civilized society, and so we are appealing to the good nature of every Grenadian, Caricunian and Petit Martinican. Please let's let the process go smoothly.
All right.
Okay,
Mr.
sir.
Philip, thank you so very
Thank you
much.
again.
We're very, very glad. We'll be in contact with you again. just for some final information over the next 26 days to election day. So we'll be in contact with you again, and we'd like to thank you so very much. And please ensure, send the stuff to us. We will put it on for free. We have no problem doing that as a national service.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir.
All right, take care. Have a good day, sir.
All right, folks, we've been speaking with Mr. Ferdinand Phillip. Yeah, boy. What? All you get information there, boy.
That was
you know, it's only hard talk does do them kind of thing. Other people don't want you to know how to operate on election day.
He impressed a lot on that information in terms of the do's and don'ts, the procedures and so, right, on nomination and election day. All right, and I think most of our listeners and our people are much more informed and educated about that process.
Yeah. So you know, even if you don't have your voter registration card or any form of identification, you can still vote. The main thing, remember you said, the main thing is that your name must be on the list. So check and make sure that your name is there. You also said that you have until the end of the day tomorrow to challenge. Yeah, anybody that you're seeing on the list that you don't believe should be there, you have until the end of the day tomorrow to challenge those persons being on the list. And so he went over the nomination day process, the election day process, what is going on with the electoral office right now. In fact, yeah, it's a nice one. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break right now, and we'll be right back with more hard talk. In fact, I had to tell you something, and here's what. Nobody tune off right now because I have some breaking news to drop.
And as a matter of fact, just share, just like and share.
Yeah, we're about to break some news.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
The new National Party takes its message of empowerment and progress to Plains St. Patrick's this Sunday. Campaign 2018 makes a stop at the Plains playing field with a massive national rally from 5 p.m. Come and hear St. Patrick's candidates Anthony Boson from the west and Pamela Moses from the east, plus the leader of the Dream 15, political leader Dr. Keith Mitchell. See you in Plains this Sunday. NNP for 2018 and beyond. We're moving together.
Oh, we're winning right now. I'm living right now, cause we're winning right now, yeah.
So I've been catching my tail to get out, like in and out of my village, and Miss Palm passed on yesterday, and she promised me something. I'll get it done on the same day, and look, I'll get it done this morning. Although you kind of handburg me right now, but still, I've been some patience at some feet. That I'll move to the next time I want to go and do my daily job.
I used to take my vehicle and come inside, end up sticking, have to get machine to pull it out on the road. When I reach out
for the NNP party. Going green all the way. Green, voting green, green. We voting green, green. We voting green on election day. Green, give me voting green, green. Give me green, green. We voting green, we voting NNP again. Exercise your rights and vote for us.
Individuals or a particular organization do something like that. For several days now, probably about the last 2 weeks or so, there have been individuals flying drones over the Prime Minister's residence. It has been noticed, it has been monitored, but for the past few days especially, they have been flying drones over the official residence of the Prime Minister and several other places. In fact, a few nights ago, there was a drone that had been circling the headquarters of the new National Party. And we're speaking here about what time of the night was that? Around 11:30, 12 at night. There was a drone circling over the headquarters of the new National Party and has been circling also over the official residence of the Prime Minister. So it has been noticed, and yesterday, one of the drones was crashed into the Prime Minister's residence.
Wow.
So one of the drones was recovered yesterday at the Prime Minister's residence. One of the drones that has been circling And who knows, doing whatever they're doing, because, you know, drones carry cameras and they carry video cameras and still cameras and so on. So drones have constantly had a presence over the residence of the Prime Minister as well as the headquarters of the new national. Actually, they thought that we didn't notice and didn't know what was going on. A few nights ago, the one over the New National Party headquarters was here for quite a while. Yeah, moving around, taking different angles, that sort of thing. And now one of them has been crashed into the residence of the Prime Minister. And no injury and things, a small drone. Yeah, so no injury and that kind of thing. When I say crash, don't expect to see no big kind of, yeah. But why would somebody find it so necessary to do that? I know we dropped some information last week and we have more information to drop. And Randall, we have more information to drop that we will be dropping in and between. But now let's start flying drone over the official residence of the Prime Minister. And so, Devon, yeah, anything to say about that?
That, in my view, is a serious security issue. See, when it comes to the security of our Prime Minister, and so
that's an issue of national security, yeah?
An issue of national security, right? Because you have the Prime Minister, you have something illegal is being flown over his residence, and especially when he's in that residence. You understand?
So it's been noticed a few days now. The security forces have noticed, and they were monitoring the situation and so. What one was actually crashed into the property yesterday.
Now, why would you want to do that to the Prime Minister's residence? That in itself tells us that the frustration, right, and the willingness of some people, the lengths that they will go, right, to intimidate persons, including the Prime Minister. You know, but hey, you know what? He's a 71-year-old young man, right, that will not be intimidated neither politically or any other way, any otherwise. You know, he will ensure that he continues to do what he's doing, and so without any fear or favor. All right, so we expect that the security forces to do what needs to be done, right, in sooner rather than later.
Yes, indeed. But I think this is an issue of serious concern. I believe that it is an issue that ought to be dealt with in the most serious of manners. You cannot do something like that in any country on earth and not expect repercussions. That is a security risk. You think every now and again you hear somebody try to fly a drone around the White House and within no time flat. You realize that person is detained. They find who the person is because it's not difficult, and you find whatever you find and you deal with the person. And in the same situation, the residence of the Prime Minister. And first of all, the law of Grenada states that people operating drones ought to obtain the permission of the Commissioner of Police. Let me say that again, because some people don't seem to understand the law. I know that certain people were sleeping in Parliament or not they. I know there were some people that had to go and think curtain and bake cake when it's Christmas time, and we were dealing with the laws of the country. I know some people, the $800 couldn't put gas in the vehicle to come down.
So they couldn't come down.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, now taking this one to the beginning of the day. First, this one, Dread. We ain't going at the end of the day. We're going to the beginning of the day with this one. I'm telling you straight. That is a serious matter. You cannot be flying drones over the residence, the official residence of the Prime Minister of Grenada. But that is a serious matter.
But that again,
but
Sheldon,
at least one drone has been secured by the security forces.
But again, Sheldon, for weeks we have been saying, right, the capability, right, of these guys, what they are prepared, the distance they are prepared to go to obtain power in this country, right? I mean, it is amazing, right, that you will do things like trying to frustrate the electoral process. You understand? You will malign fellow Grenadians, saying all sorts of things about them. And now look at that. You directly impeding on the security of the Prime Minister of this country. I mean, that is for Grenadians to be...
I will say this though, knowing the Royal Grenada Police Force, they will do what is necessary to be done to bring the persons who have breached the law, because remember, according to the law of Grenada, in relation to the use of drones, an individual who is in possession of a drone has to get the permission of the Commissioner of Police before operating such, and state exactly where they're going to operate it, because other than that, you'd have people flying drones around the airport, and it could cause an incident. Yeah, you could have people flying them all over the place, into people's private property and so on, and causing all sorts of problems. So, as such, an individual who is operating a drone, and who here tell others, an individual who is operating a drone needs to get the permission of the Commissioner of Police before doing so. So again, the breaking news that we do have is one drone has been secured. It did crash into the residence, official residence of the Prime Minister. And when I say crash, again, I don't want to frighten nobody. No, it didn't leave a big hole. It's a small, it's a drone. You know the drones, the small items that have the camera and so on to tape thing and take photographs and all that kind of thing. Yeah, one of that. So it crashed into the residence of the official residence of the Prime Minister. Drones have been noticed. We have been monitoring the situation both at the headquarters of the New National Party. There has been a drone that has been circling the building for quite a while now. In fact, it was noticed again after 11/12 one particular night, and as well over the Prime Minister's residence. All right? Yeah.
But you know, Sheldon, this is a serious threat to the life of our Prime Minister and his family. And so, because when you go to that extent, understanding that it is illegal to do such a thing, if you go to such a length to do it, and eventually crashing one of those things into the residence, in my view, that is a threat on the life of the Prime Minister of this country, and it must never be taken lightly.
And if such activities can be attempted when it comes to the Prime Minister of the country, understand what could be attempted for you, the average citizen.
Exactly.
If that is the direction that they are going to go. All right? But the Royal Grenada Police Force, believe me, they'll be able to deal with it. Yeah?
Oh, yes.
They'll be able to deal with it. We're going to open the phone lines now, 440-7377. It's now 33 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock. Devon, the overseas number?
347-329-3101.
Yeah, if flying drones over the Prime Minister's residence. Yeah, I've seen some people say, shoot it down.
Threatening the life of our Prime Minister.
I've seen several people, they only shoot it down. Target practice, shoot it down, shoot it down, shoot it down. But it's according to the range, yeah. It's according to the range of it and so on. So 440-7377, we have a call on the overseas line.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, brother.
Good morning, my boy.
Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, brother. I find you looking tired,
You see too much.
But let me say this, Sheldon. This issue here is going too far. You know, it shows the level of desperation that these people will go to. Listen, man, we the people of St. George Northwest, we give everybody the fair opportunity to compete against Dr. Mitchell. Okay? They have the meeting all over the place. They have the little 2 and 3 people. Good for them. 2 people, more people on the platform than on the... Good for them. We give them the fair opportunity. But when you hear about drone flying over, listen, we the people of St. George Northwest, we take this thing serious. And are calling on the authorities to bring down them drone and them as long as they reach close to our dear leader residents. Take them down. I don't care whether they get permission from the Commissioner of Police or not. Take them down as soon as we identify them. Because we are not going to sit down or sit back and watch the repeat of what happened here in our country. We have a leader who is being praised, Sheldon. He is being praised by the Barbados Prime Minister and national news about the steps that we take to bring Grenada where it is today. They have applied to the IMF to get the package that Grenada has gotten. And the IMF has not even written to them as yet. our homegrown program. They are praising the condition of Grenada economy is in today. How come it's only this desperate set of folk that cannot see the progress? I don't understand. And they reach that close? No. I mean, we know what these guys are capable of. You already exposed the bringing people from Jamaica that a country that they have to have the whole national guard fighting to put under order. We don't have this kind of problem in Grenada. Sweet Grenada under the new national party. And I tell you, we the people of Northwest, we take this serious and we call in on the authority to do whatever they can to protect the savior, our savior and our representative. Thank you, brother.
All right.
Have a good day, my friend.
440-7377. That's the number to call and get onto the inside.
Sheldon, this thing is bothering me more and more as it begins to sink in, because as a person that is a bit security conscious and so, right, it is, in my view, something like that happening at the Prime Minister. You can categorize that as an assassination attempt on the Prime Minister's life.
Well, let's not go that far yet. Let's careful. Let's careful the language. Let's not go that far yet. But what has been done is wrong, is illegal, and note that one drone is now in the custody of the Royal Grenada Police Force
after being crashed into
the Prime
Minister's residence.
Yeah, good morning, brothers.
Good morning, my
friend. How are you doing?
Good.
Well, people was brought in to teach us how to ratchet up and be scamps. You understand? I don't know. Sometimes the drone could be flown from overseas too. You never know if it's a foreigner teaching us how to fly drones into the Prime Minister's office. So we have to be careful who the politicians bring down in Grenada. They must be thoroughly scrutinized. But on the other hand, my brother, for 365 days, our national broadcasting service, Grenada National Broadcasting Service, GBN, has been on a campaign to unseat the government. Every night, through Mr. Gentleman, Mr. Augustine, I think is his name, has a program trying to destabilize the government. Ms. Claudette Joseph has been on that program for over 50 times. An insider in GBN told me that, look, they're fed up. They don't listen to GBN at nights. You understand? Well, I, in particular, does not listen to GBN at all. Only after 10 when the BBC comes on, I listen to GBN because I don't feel Mr. Augustine is doing justice to Grenadians by bringing one set of people on his radio program to try to unseat the government. You understand?
Well, hold on, caller. Before we go any further, let's give the benefit of the doubt. I think GBN has not shown a bias. To be honest with you, I do not think that GBN has shown a bias towards any political organization. What we have to confirm before we say Mr. Augustine is bad, because I like to give people a fair chance. Let's find out if he did in fact contact the New National Party to attempt to get anybody from the party onto his program.
Yeah, but I am only expressing what I have seen. I have never seen or heard anybody from the national the NNP on that program. You understand? And in my opinion, it's just my opinion. In my opinion, GBN to me is like Fox to the Republican. You understand? GBN to me is like Fox is to the Republican. GBN so is GBN to the NDC. You understand?
That's my
opinion.
That's your opinion. No problem, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, thanks. I, for one, will not attack the Grenada Broadcasting Corporation. I think they have been very, very impartial, in my view. I think they've allowed in fact, I'd say one thing though, they allow the NDC to have their time. They allow government to have their time. My only thing with them is I think they need to let NNP have their time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I can't say, because I don't listen. I haven't listened to that program with Mr. Augustine, so I don't want to go and attack him and say that, oh, he's biased, he's this, he's that. he would be able to say whether he has approached the New National Party officially to get persons from the party to be on his program or not. So, on my own, you have your own view. You listen. I would have to listen and make
my own. Morning.
Good morning to you, my
friend. Good morning, Devon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, one of the questions I want you to find out from Mr. Philip. Okay, that they say on nomination day, they need the candidate and 6 other persons. Alright? But even that the candidate is out of state, then you'll get somebody else to think of for him. See, if you 6 persons plus the person that will stand on behalf, or 5 and the person that stand on behalf?
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, like 6 persons there plus the candidate.
Yeah.
So the candidate plus 6. That will be 7. Okay. So even that the candidate is out of state, and he asks somebody to do it on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
So then it will be the same 6 candidate plus the other person who said do it on his behalf.
Yes. The person basically stands in for the candidate if the candidate cannot make it to the parliamentary electoral office on that day. So they would have to have a statutory declaration from the candidate stating that this person is representing me, and that person will be there. So it will be the same 7. But remember, even though some individuals come down with an entourage, because I know you all in Northwest coming down with about 300 people.
Yeah.
So, but only that 7 can enter the office, and all the 6 persons that are being brought must be electors in that constituency.
Okay, so then what about like 6 persons we can say 6 persons with the candidate, okay? So like 7. So what I'm saying, even that the candidate apps is not present, not in the island. So then the person that who will be taking on his behalf, it will be somebody one from the 6, so then you go left with 5, or the other next one makes 7.
You tie me up there now.
No, okay. What I'm saying, okay, 7 persons, so 6 persons, the candidate plus 6.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright? So what I'm saying, if the candidate is not in the island and he asks somebody from the election office to do it on his behalf, it would be somebody from the 6.
My brother, no matter what you're looking at, it is only going to be 7 persons going inside.
Okay, I understand that.
It's only going to be 7 persons.
7 persons.
The only 7 persons will be going in there are the 6 electors from that constituency and the candidate or the candidate's representative.
Yeah.
That's the only 7 people that will be going in there.
Okay.
That is the only 7 people involved in the process.
Okay, I don't want to get clear.
Yeah.
Alright?
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, have a wonderful day.
440-7377. That's 440-7377.
347-329-3101.
All you taking lava man literally. Fly the drone.
Yeah.
What happened to all you? All you taking lava man literally with this thing when he say fly the drone. But lava didn't tell all the part about go and check with the police force first. And secondly, there are certain installations in Grenada over which drones should never be allowed. And that is the official residence of the Prime Minister, official residence of the Governor General, places like the Port Authority, the airport, military installations, the General Hospital. Those places should never have drones flying over them. But don't worry, we'll deal with that.
And then
let me see who calling us.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The question I would like to ask, what about the rum shops that are closely situated next to some of the polling stations? Should people be under the shop during that period?
Okay, I'll answer you off air.
Okay then,
no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to alcohol on a polling day is an absolute no-no. You are not allowed to even give it away. So even if you have a local bottle of rum and you think you could go in your veranda and some of your friends could come over and all you go have a drink and wait for the results, you cannot do that between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. during polling hours, yeah? So between 6 a.m. and 5 p.m. on election day, no alcohol is to be sold. And that's inclusive of the 9th, Friday the 9th as well. That is inclusive. So it's 2 days that will be happening. In fact, if you go to a supermarket and they have various alcoholic beverages on election day, you'd realize that they rope off that section or they remove everything off the shelf. Because they cannot sell alcohol, they cannot distribute alcohol, they cannot give away alcohol. Supermarkets, rum shops, even private persons cannot give alcohol away or sell alcohol or distribute alcohol on election day. If it is a rum shop, the best thing for the rum shop to do is remain closed.
Yeah.
Even if persons are hanging out outside it and so on, it should never be a situation where they are engaging in the drinking or distribution or sale of alcoholic beverages. That would be against the law of the land.
And you know, I just want to appeal to all of us. My God, on that day, a day which all of us is going to make a decision that will affect our life, let's just drink a soda pop, a glass of juice, or malt. Let's just not drink alcohol on that day, please.
All right, we have a caller.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Brother Sheldon. Good morning, Brother.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
Not too bad.
I wouldn't touch the matter of the drone this morning, because if I do, we'll be talking all tomorrow. But what I'm calling about this morning is tonight this evening, 6:30 p.m. by Ira Shop in Granans Valley, St. George South constituency will be having a public meeting. All are invited.
All right, so that's by Ira Shop?
Ira Shop, 6:30 p.m. this evening.
All right, my brother.
Right.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So that's the South St. George constituency. We did mention that one earlier. They are having that meeting at 6:30 by Ira Shop. Also remember, folks, the St. Andrew Southeast constituency there in Crowshoe, close to Jones Shop.
Yep.
That's at 6:30. That's the Felix Park entrance
Park
there.
area there,
St. George Northeast, in conjunction with the town of St. George, they're having that meeting by the Coke Factory in Tempe at 6 p.m.
Yep.
And St. Andrew Northwest in Bylands at 7 p.m. We have another caller.
Good morning and welcome.
Hey, morning, brothers. How you guys doing?
Quite fine.
You know, something that bothers me and still continues to, that young man in Carrico that seemed to be really glad to hear his people eating from a garbage bin. But something he said to me that continued to play in my mind, that the Prime Minister of this country is always calling his name on platform and say he should go and, like, he want to work. He's looking for work. And to me, the Prime Minister is trying to tell him that, I mean, we need young people in politics, but go and build up yourself as an individual. You know, get something under your belt, so you could fall back on in case of you lose or in case of sickness, you know. Go back and get something under your belt. And the individual answered that he worked approximately 2 years with the Ministry of Culture. Approximately 2 years. Now I'm saying people in Carrico, you go and vote. You're in that line. You're a hard worker, you're a farmer, you're a teacher, you're a doctor, you're a fisher folk, you're a vendor, and you're going to vote for an individual that says approximately worked 2 years in his life. Approximately. You know? You don't even vote for somebody that even work hard yet, that know about working to achieve anything. So people in Carrico, the choice is clear. It's clear as today. Yeah? You cannot put your ex by somebody that say they work for approximately 2 years. Have a nice day, brothers.
Have a good day, my friend.
Right. And just remember, just again, the breaking news for those of you just joining us. Yeah? A drone has been crashed into the official residence of the Prime Minister. This after there have been drones flying over there for the past couple days, nearly about 2 weeks. Also over the headquarters of the new National Party. A drone was found flying over there just a few nights ago. Did we have photos of that one, bro? Got photos of it? Technical man ain't listening to me. All right, okay.
Wait,
yeah, you got photos of the drone? You got photos of the drone the other night? No, come on, man. You had to get that.
You know why the interesting thing? It's funny though that you have comments being made by the leader of NDC, right, wanting to strip me naked in public. You have comments made by Ray Roberts about the Prime Minister and what should bust open and what should show. I mean, I'm asking myself, I mean, to go and fly drones above someone, you invading the privacy. What you guys want to see?
Anyway, we have a caller online.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Okay, we
Well,
lost,
we
that,
lost that
one.
one.
Let's go to the overseas line.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Sheldon.
Hey, good morning, my
I'm calling
friend.
because last night I was listening to this program, I think, with Mr. Baron Campbell and Mr. Forrester. And I want to say what that Jericho always used to say. He, Kennedy Roberts, are washing both of them in the same water. Because Terry's number one, the number one reason why Terry Forrester is upset with the government is because he did not get back his diplomatic passport.
My brother, hold on. Let's clarify something here. He did not have a diplomatic passport. I don't think he ever had a diplomatic passport. So it's not a matter of not getting back.
Well, he said it was just downstairs. PM was just a call downstairs. Let him come.
Oh, yes, he did. You're correct. You know, he actually did. He did at a point in time. Yes. Yeah.
Right. So that's what Terry Forrester said. And when I listened to him last night,
my brother, hold one moment. Are you using a Bluetooth or something to speak to us? Because your signal keeps dropping. It's
direct.
I don't know why.
I'm calling you direct.
Okay.
I'm hearing it. I'm kind of breaking up, but I'm calling you direct.
Okay, go ahead. Let's see if we could get it cleaned up there. Go ahead.
Right. So the thing is, based on what I pick up from him, because he didn't get his way, he's upset. Just like Kennedy Roberts. And again, his attitude towards the interviewer last night was not good at all. It was doggy dog. You understand? And that's not how you talk to people. Like, he didn't even want the interviewer to ask particular questions, and I think that's not right with Mr. Forrester. I think he needs to wheel and come again. You know. So I want the people in the South to be very careful with him, as Jericho say, and as I would say, Terry Forrester, Kennedy Roberts are washing both of them in same water.
Okay, my brother.
That's my contribution for the day.
All right, my
Yo,
brother.
Devon, I have it covered.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my brother. One love.
Good morning.
All right, take care.
All right, take
Hello?
care.
Yes, we have a caller online.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Morning. Yes, you're a live caller. Go right ahead. Ignore the
Hello?
radio. Ignore the radio in the background. Speak to us on the phone.
Hello?
Yes, you're a live caller. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I quite agree with you when you say that GBN has given everybody their fair share. But the guy who hosts the program at nights is a very dangerous customer. But once the ball is struck over the boundary, it's 6 runs, and the die is already cast. Have a good morning.
All right,
Have a good
my
morning.
Yeah, I don't have problem with any of the media house. I can't say that I have any problem with any of the media houses. I think by and large they give different sides a fair shake.
And
you may
that's
have
what they're there for.
individual people
who,
that may have their issues.
who might
But
prolong,
I don't
but-
listen to the program, so I can't say.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you and your co-host.
Good morning, my dear.
Please allow me to just show this St. Anthony Northwest together with Sister Delma Thomas would be inside of Bylands this evening for a public meeting. It starts at 7. So those who are listening, tell your neighbors, tell your friends. We want everybody to come out and to find out what is taking place for the upcoming election and our plans. So please come out and be on time.
Okay.
Okay, my dear. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, so the flying drones over the office, not the office, the residence of the Prime Minister of Grenada.
And I take that very
over
serious.
the headquarters of the new National Party. And who knows what those drones are carrying. Yeah? We have a caller.
Good morning and welcome. Hello. Good
Hi,
morning.
Morning.
Hey, morning. Yes, concerning the drone, the CID can track the drone where it come from because I think they're supposed to have a base.
Yeah, they'll be doing everything within their power to bring the people who have been doing this. But that drone is just one of several that are being used. It's just one of several.
Okay, another question. How long one have to be living in a country before he or she could vote?
12 continuous months.
Yeah?
12 continuous months.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they must be living for 12 months and not leave and come back.
Okay,
Once
then.
they leave and come back, it's considered as it's broken.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. All right, my brother.
4407377 and
347-329-3101.
Yes.
You know, and Sheldon, we are living in a point in terms of election day, right? Some of the conducts and so on. The whole question of alcohol, you know, must be emphasized, right? Right, of not consuming alcohol on that day. You know, and it's just a general appeal again to my people. Let's just leave the alcohol alone on that day. Right?
We have a caller.
Good morning and welcome.
Hello, hi, morning, Sheldon.
Morning.
Devon.
Good morning.
Morning, how you doing?
We're fine.
Are you talking about this drone thing? That is a very, very serious thing.
No, we're not just talking about
that
the drone thing.
That is a very serious thing.
You know, I would never come here and say anything.
I'll have to see what the Prime Minister to see why he had to do with it, because online, I have a house. They don't come and fly over my house. Why is the Prime Minister? You understand? That is a very serious thing. And I don't like it. I don't like that. That is not nice. And they don't have no respect for the Prime Minister. That is not nice. But we know who doing that. They desperate.
Oh, we know.
Desperate now.
We know exactly who's
them
doing
is,
it.
Them is not the National Democratic Congress, you know. Them is National Desperate Congress, you know. So I have to watch them like hawk.
We
and
will.
Have a blessed day.
You too, my dear.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
So again, for those of you just joining us, because I realize the numbers keep going up. For those of you just joining us, the breaking news is that a drone has been crashed into the what do you call it again? The Prime Minister's official residence.
Of the Prime Minister.
And for several days now, going on to about 2 weeks, we have been noticing drones circling the official residence of the Prime Minister. Also, circling the headquarters of the new National Party. Yeah? All right. So that's the news, yeah?
It is,
investigations are ongoing.
Good morning and welcome. Wow, I lost that caller.
Person, you change your mind? All right,
because
we only have a few minutes left. 4407377
and 347-329-3101.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and you have to be certain people that's come out and try and play like there's the most innocent and all kind of thing. And you have to investigate where audio come from, and you have to investigate where this come from, and you have to investigate where that come from.
You know what, Sheldon? Hello, good morning.
Yes,
good morning, Sheldon. How are you?
Fine.
Yes, and Devon, how are you, man?
Not too bad. Good morning, my friend.
Yeah, I'm calling from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, go right ahead, caller. You're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, man, I just listening to your program. And the problem is, what I'm saying is that, we need to bring Grenada forward. So what I'm saying is that we are looking for the best, party.
Go ahead.
Oh, shit.
Go ahead, caller. Hello? Hello?
They're not listening to the...
Oh, boy, it seems as though we lost that caller.
Yes.
Yeah. So 4407377. Yeah, we're sticking with it. As we get, we're taking it.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, caller. Go right ahead. Hi, sir.
Mike. Hello.
That voice sounds familiar, man. Go right ahead. Yes, we're hearing you, caller. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, we're hearing you, caller. Go right ahead.
Okay, right. Okay.
Pay attention to the phone line and not the radio.
Right. Okay. I just wasn't hearing you, so I didn't know what you were saying.
Yes.
Right. I'm making a contribution this morning, and my subject is regarding the efforts that was made by Mr. What's the guy name again? His name just said. Right. It's regarding the Kennedy Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
He came up with some bogus decision saying that the reason that, of course, he was on the NNDC platform was because of the lack of support for the health sector that the NNP was showing. Now, I find that is very strange because Mr. Roberts has been a member, and not only a member, but an executive member of the NNP for over 15 years. And if he thought that there was something wrong with NDC, with the NNP support for the health sector, I thought he was very late, because it meant that it took him 15 years before he could have realized that. So why now? So I think there was something sinister in that statement. So I don't know whether or not, from what I heard on the media, whether he has resigned from the NNP, but I take it with what he has said that he has resigned. But going back to Mr. Roberts, you remember our grandparents used to say, blood thicker than water.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that he had been influenced by his brother, that is Vincent Roberts, who is now the chairman of the NDC. And the reason I say that is because I have facts to help me with that. Now, when Kennedy was a member of the NNP, he came up one day at an executive meeting and he told the gathering that his brother Vincent was desirous of helping the NNP raise funds. So it was, well, as a matter of fact, people discussed this and they said, okay, let Vincent come and we will hear what Vincent has to say. So a select committee was appointed and Vincent was invited to a meeting with that select committee, and we agreed that what he said was reasonable, because what he said was he is able to help us raise funds for the party. And then, well, we're going to throw away that, because that was a good thing, because we had a fundraising committee that was not functioning as it should. And there we had somebody like Vincent coming up with fresh ideas. We say, okay, let's hear what he has to say. So he said, in his job, he meets with a lot of people. Those people sometimes would like to see the Prime Minister, talk to him, so he can arrange for breakfast with these people. They can come in, they can chat with the Prime Minister, they will offer assistance in giving funds to the party, etc. We thought that was reasonable, and we say, okay, so he was, as a matter of fact, the select committee that heard him, we said, okay, that's good. We can then make you the chairman of the fundraising committee, and that would be good. So Vincent said, okay, all right, we'll continue, we'll do it. So he left and he said he was going to come back with plans as how we're going to implement that decision. Well, we waited for Vincent for a while. We did not hear from him. But then at another executive meeting, Kennedy said, you know, Vince says he would like to be invited to sit on the executive committee, you know, to our meetings, etc. So that was rejected. And I tell you, that was the last time we heard anything about Vincent. Vincent was just an opportunist, and he wanted to get into the party hierarchy, and he came up with those bogus excuses. So we never heard from Vincent, and that seemed to be the end of it all. But I think what has happened was, with Kennedy now, Vincent must have tried to influence him to come over to NDC. And Kennedy was looking for an excuse. So the excuse he came up with was that the NNP has not the health of the nation in its thought. But now, what I am saying now, I'm giving you my speculation as to why Kennedy sided with Vincent. Because I have a feeling that it was a long time, and Kennedy took a long time before he made that step. But what I now believe is Vincent must have encouraged Kennedy, telling him, look, boy, you know, I think you should come over. But Kennedy had a long thought, I believe. This is my speculation now, so I'm speculating.
And before they say some fake voice, hello? Before they say some fake voice that come on there, identify yourself now.
Very clearly.
No, I'm saying that you could identify yourself, you know. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, well, I could identify myself. I'm Michael Rizzi, you know. As a matter of fact, I'm not afraid to identify myself because what I'm saying is true.
All right.
I mean, it's biblical, you know, because I'm used to that. You know, I used to write a lot of letters, etc., and I was never afraid to sign my name to the letters that I wrote because that's the type of person I am. When I believe in something, I believe in it. So that my speculation is, as I was saying, that Vincent must have said to Kennedy, look, Kennedy, you don't have any, future in the NNP because the area that you ran for years ago is now held by Tobias Clement. And Tobias Clement is going to beat Nazim Bok in this incoming election. So your chance for coming in after that would be better because you would be able to run for that constituency. And I know that Nazim is going to lose. And if you come over with us at NBC, I being chairman, we can work it out. We can take over the party because there are weaklings in the NDC. And when Nazim goes, we can take over the party. So why don't you come over? And I think this is why Kennedy has now cast in his lot with the NDC. You know, because Kennedy didn't seem to be that type of person. But with Vincent, trickery, and prodding, I believe that is why he has taken it on, you know. And that is just singular, you know. You know, people do make those type of decisions. You know, Vincent is the type of person that one cannot trust. If you remember, after the 2008 election...
And caller, we've crossed 12, so we have to wrap up now.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe I'll have to continue that at another time.
Okay, no problem.
Definitely.
All right, good.
All right, boss.
Yeah, didn't want to have to cut you there, but I just realized that we crossed the 12 o'clock hour, and as such, we got to wrap the program for today. But before we leave, just a reminder again. Yeah, the breaking news.
They crashing drones.
They listening to Lava Man too much. They start to fly the drone, so they fly a drone over the official residence of the Prime Minister of Grenada. In fact, one of the drones has been crashed into the property. No damage to anybody or anything like that. But one drone has been crashed into there. But they have been flying drones. It has been noticed by the security forces that drones have been flown over the official residence of the Prime Minister and the headquarters of the New National Party for quite a few days now. Yeah? So investigations will be continuing into that one. Believe me, investigations will be taking place. Because remember that you had certain people that was brought into Grenada and saying...
Scampishness is not always a bad thing. But scampishness was behind some of the greatest slave revolts of this hemisphere. And scampishness is basically the Caribbean version of cunning. Right? And white people in parliaments all around the world prize their most cunning people. Why? Because they win. So let's not pretend that Keith Mitchell is not cunning. Keith Mitchell is one of the most cunning politicians in the Caribbean. And not only is he a cunning politician, and if you don't respect your opponents, you can't beat them. But not only is he a cunning politician, he's a pit bull. Right? And you cannot, unless you're a Great Dane, you can't sit quietly around a pit bull. You need to be a sort of pit bullish yourself. Or at least have surrogates who can come across as pit bulls. If not, a Rottweiler every now and then. But you need to have people and women are the best people usually to do inside the job. Because they can deal with the range of humanity. They can talk to other women a certain way. They can talk to the toughest guy on the street a certain way. They can talk to the doctor a certain way. They're the best. But if they are not willing to be scampish when necessary in the polling booth when they see things aren't going right, don't put them in there. Don't send them someplace else, right? We're going to have to be very careful with who goes in and the temperament of those people, and whether or not they need to be able to be very professional when necessary, but also very ghetto and very ratchet when necessary.
Yeah, remember, that's the kind of training that going on within the NDC right now. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful being here with you. Yes, it did. And remember, just before we leave, the meetings for today: South St. George, Grand Anse Valley by Irish up from 6 p.m. St. George Northeast together with the town of St. George in Tempe by the Coke Factory, 6 p.m. St. Andrew Northwest up in Byland, Sister Dalma Thomas. That's going to be from 7 p.m. And St. Andrew Southeast in Croshoe, close to Jones Shop, at 6:30 p.m. Also in Carriacou, Bogles. Yeah, do the Bogles, right, in Bogles. So they're going to be having various people speaking there. The Honorable Elvin G. Nimrod, Senator Cox, Chester Humphrey. Nice team. They'll be meeting in Bogles. Transportation provided. So in Winwood, Rodrigues, plastics bus for Dover, Belvedere, and Bogles. Power bus for Hillsborough, Bourgeois, Seaview, Kako, and Prospect Hall. Rupert's bus for Harveyville and Belmont, Anselm bus for Montreal and Top Hill, Franklin bus for Mount Pleasant and Bel Air, Root Boy for Bellevue South, 6 Roads and Brunswick. All buses are leaving at 6:30 p.m. to Leicester. All right. Wait, now, saying that's for Leicester tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'm mixing up the two. Yeah. So there's one in Bogles this evening, but there's one in Leicester tomorrow.
So I've been catching my tail to get out, in and out of my village, and Miss Palm passed on yesterday, and she promised me something. I'll get it done on the same day, and we can get it done this morning. Although you kind of hamburger me right now, but still, I've been some patience at some feet. That I'll move the next time I want to go and do my daily job.
I used to take my vehicle and come inside, end up sticking, have to get machine to pull it out of the road. When I reach out the road, definitely, I'll be thanking the person who pulled me out. And I see Miss Pamela coming yesterday and look at the road, and I'm feeling so happy today that I see progress continue, that she get a machine and come and help us in the area, fix the road. Definitely, I'm feeling so thankful.
I think the people of Tisha will be very happy with what happened in so far, because a lot of potholes, and I think yesterday Sister Pam passed, and today we see some action. So we are very happy. I hope that a little better could be done in terms of concrete in the road and food. Thank you so much.
The new National Party takes its message of empowerment and progress to Plains St. Patrick's this Sunday. Campaign 2018 makes it at the Plains playing field with a massive national rally from 5 p.m. Come and hear St. Patrick's candidates Anthony Boson from the West and Pamela Moses from the East, plus the leader of the Dream 15, political leader Dr. Keith Mitchell. See you in Plains this Sunday. NNP for 2018 and beyond. We're moving together.
Oh, we're winning right now. Our Thanksgiving right now, cause we're winning right now.
The quality of the team we have put together for this current general elections is one of my proudest achievements. This Dream 15 is made up of achievers and successful people, and of members with a genuine grounding in their communities and inspired by the love they have for people. These are what set this team apart from the so-called alternative. Ours is one of continuity and renewal, and built with a determination to expand opportunities for youth and women. If elections are about choices, which they are, then the choice this election is clearer than in any previous poll. Love wins every time. Care wins every time. Competence wins every time. Performance beats old talk every time.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs disputes claims of Grenada being prevented from exercising voting rights in international circle. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says Grenada is not being prevented from exercising its voting rights in the United Nations Community of Nations. It was responding to news reports that this country has lost its voting rights in the UN as a result of unpaid dues. The ministry says on February 5, 2018, the Permanent Mission of Grenada to the UN dispatched a check to the United Nations Secretariat for processing of the country's dues for 2018, and in that respect, it expects to see this reflected soon in the UN's information system. A release was issued which states that in real terms, Grenada has not been prevented from exercising its voting rights in the Community of Nations because the first voting opportunity of 2018 is in June, when Grenada votes in support of candidates or member states for non-permanent membership on the United Nations Security Council. The ministry says Grenada continues to maintain a high level of credibility and respect at the United Nations and in the wider international community. Grenada is among 3 regional countries that will share in a $26 million allocation from the World Bank for the execution of the OECS Regional Tourism Competitiveness Project. The other beneficiaries are St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The project seeks to promote economic growth in a sustainable manner through facilitation of access and movement of travelers through a pilot ferry service and rehabilitation of selected tourism sites. The project has 4 components. Facilitation of movement of people, which has been allocated $2.25 million, pilot tourism infrastructure investment with an allocation of $18.54 million, market development and promotional capacity building $2.79 million, and project implementation support $2.15 million. Grenada's project development site is Fort George. During the project launch on Tuesday, Tourism Minister Dr. Clarice Modest Kerwin challenged Grenadians to make the best of the project opportunity. This, she says, comes after years of planning to develop tourism sites with little or no funding.
Fort George is a big thing. So when we start here, we're not only addressing one little space, but we addressing a bigger thing. And if we start talking about Fort George, we have to start talking about sometime later on an extension, a phase 2 of the project, Fort Matthew. We have other forts here. Very interesting, very rich in history. So this thing is not just, it's huge, But it's what we do with it, it's how we do it, it's how we take advantage of the opportunity that's been offered here.
Team leader from the World Bank, John Anderson, says the project is the critical next step in Grenada's tourism development.
The project provides critical financing for investing in Grenada's tourism assets. We heard from PS Utram the many years of plans that have been in place and visions that have been put in place to try to upgrade the Fort George site, strengthen the tourism destination that's offered here. And now there's nearly $4 million in financing available to upgrade the infrastructure, strengthen the historical explanations, provide marketing and management planning support to make this a signature heritage tourism destination for the region.
The project should be completed in 2023. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The safety on our roads make this a major priority. Health of our people, a crucial necessity. Accidents happen when road users are either irresponsible or inconsiderate in one way or the other. Play your part. Reduce your speed. Be attentive. It is your personal responsibility. Let 2017 be the start of no more road fatality. Be safe, be seen, be smart. So let's wise up as a nation, get to your destination safe.
The Parliamentary Elections Office is seeking to put to rest the fears of those who may turn up to vote on March 13th without their national identification card. During a workshop held recently with media practitioners, Supervisor of Elections Mr. Alex Phillips said another form of identification can be used in place of the national ID.
If the card is lost, please remember that you can vote without the card. But we love persons to have the cards once you have it, because it can help to speed up the process.
He explained that there are 269 ballot boxes, 254 for the regular polls, and 15 for police officers, 1 for each constituency. The election supervisor says the office is working to ensure a fair and accountable election process.
We are preparing right now for nomination. We have put out notices in the Gazette and the newspapers, the several newspapers, informing the persons of where nomination will take place. We are out there in the field speaking to the candidates and the agents, sort of getting them to know their rights and responsibility so that we can be on one level playing field as we prepare for this election. We are very excited about it.
The Ministry of Health's National Infectious Disease Control Unit, NIDCU, will on Wednesday conduct HIV/AIDS rapid testing for individuals and couples who are willing to know their status. Officials at the unit told the Government Information Service that the Valentine's Day exercise will run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Individuals can just walk in and they will be counseled and given their results on the same day. The exercise, billed as a gift of love, a gift of health, know your status, would take place at the NIDCU's headquarters at the General Hospital's compound near the newly constructed wing, Phase 2. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
The new National Party takes its message of empowerment and progress to Plains St. Patrick's this Sunday. Campaign 2018 makes its stop at the Plains Field with a massive national rally from 5 p.m. Come and hear St. Patrick's candidates Anthony Boson from the West and Pamela Moses from the East, plus the leader of the Dream 15, political leader Dr. Keith Mitchell. See you in Plains this Sunday. NNP for 2018 and beyond. We're moving together.
Oh, we're winning right now. Our Thanksgiving right now, cause we're winning right now.
So I've been catching my tail to get out, like in and out of my village, and Miss Pam passed on yesterday, and she promised me something. I'll get it done on the same day, and look, I'll get it done this morning. Although you kind of handbag me right now, but still, I've been some patience at some feet. That I move the next time I want to go and do my daily job.
I used to take my vehicle and come inside, end up sticking, have to get machine to pull it out of the road. When I reach out the road, definitely, I'll be thanking the person who pulled me out. And I see Miss Pamela coming yesterday and look at the road, and I'm feeling so happy today that I see progress continue, that she get a machine and come and help us in the area, fix the road. Definitely, I'm feeling so thankful.
I think the people of T-Shirt will be very happy with what happened in so far, because a lot of potholes, and I think yesterday Sister Pam passed, and today some action. So we are very happy. I hope that a little better could be done in terms of concrete in the road and food. Thank you so much.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.